Moving on to the second game of the night, we have the Royals taking on the Astros, 8 o'clock game. Right now, the Royals are leading the season series against the Astros, 3-1. The line for the Astros has moved. It opened up at minus 280. Now it's all the way at minus 235 on DraftKings. Kansas City plus 190 odds. Abhishek, both teams are pretty good, pretty decent. Royals 6-4 last 10. Astros 5-5 in the last 10. Who you got for this game, the second game? Royals taking on the Astros.
Okay, so the Royals and Astros, they played a series over the weekend, and the Royals took three, not over the weekend, last week. They took 3 out of 4 from them, which was highly impressive because obviously the Houston Astros are one of the teams favored to win the whole damn thing. But when you look at this game, this shit's way too much of a favorite for the Houston Astros. Like I said, I don't like today's slate at all, to be honest. Finding 1 or 2 games is hard enough, in my opinion. This is a game where they're just favored by too much, in my opinion. The Astros, like Arun mentioned, it was minus 280 at one point. I think a lot of people saw that, and they were like, okay, everyone's zigging, we're going to zag. Because that was way too expensive, especially after seeing these two teams play just a couple days ago. So we get into the matchup here. Obviously, Arun mentioned 6-4 is the Royals in their last 10. They just swept the Cubs. That is not impressive, obviously. But they did take 3 out of 4 from Houston. So they're 6-1 their last 7. Houston, hey, for a minute there, they were riding high. They were dominating. They were dogging Seattle 12-3, 15-1. They did some fun. Like, they were just scoring and scoring. And then yesterday happened. Obviously, you can't sustain that type of scoring. But yesterday, in overtime, they lost extra innings. I just don't trust their pitching, man. I just don't trust it, no matter how many additions they make. And it always seems like when they're supposed to close the game, they can't. So if you look at today's pitching matchup, we have Daniel Lynch for the Royals. Look out, because this man, over his past 5 starts, actually 6 starts. No, 5 starts. His last 7 starts, the first 2 starts were in May, and then he got hurt. He missed over 2 months, and he must have fixed something or figured out something, because in his last 5 starts, the worst start he's given up was 3 runs in 6 innings. His last start against Houston, he went 7 innings, gave up 1 run. He went to Chicago, 5 innings, gave up 1 run. He went up against the Yankees and did his job there. So I think Daniel Lynch, lefty, obviously Houston Astros are really good against left-handed pitching. But regardless, Daniel Lynch proved himself just a couple days ago. Then we get to Zach Greinke here, 37 years old and still flying. Obviously, he pitched against the Royals also last week. He was pretty good. Gave up 1 run, 6 innings. So it wasn't his fault, obviously, about what happened. But if you're looking at value, you're not picking the money line for the Houston Astros. You're not doing that, obviously. You may take the run line. I don't know, everyone, if you know the run line for the Kansas City Royals, plus 1.5. What that is?
Plus 1.5. It is for the Royals minus 125. No. For the Royals, it's
Yeah.
plus 105.
See, so
1.5.
you could even probably take that up to 2.5 if you really wanted to. And if you want to do an alternate spread, make it 2.5. That'll be probably minus 170 maybe, or minus 150. And if it's anything under 170, then there's tremendous value there if you get 2 runs there. But if we're looking at this game, obviously on paper you see Houston, you see Kansas City, you see a mismatch here. But man, they're just too big of a favorite, the Houston Astros. And I understand the Cubs. The Cubs lose. The Royals beating the Cubs is nothing impressive at all. You still got to go on the road. Still got to win those games. They did, and it was never even close. And they did take 3 out of 4 from Houston. So if you're banking on that, then you can see a scenario where the Kansas City Royals actually just pull off the complete upset and win this game. Houston yesterday, their relievers, once again, starting pitching was great. Bullpen came in. They gave it up. A lot of pitches. The other 2 days, they were not taxed because of the blowouts. But still, with that said, and also the biggest stat of all is the Houston Astros just don't like playing against teams that suck. They just don't. For some reason, when they play teams that suck, they don't show up as much. I don't get it. You're supposed to win these games. You haven't done anything this season yet. Like, you're not the Dodgers, you're not the Giants. You don't have 80 wins. Yeah, you have 70. You have 73 wins, but the Oakland Athletics are still there. Obviously, you're still the division champions right now, but you can easily lose this if you keep slacking around like they are. But against losing teams for some reason, they just seem to play to the level of the competition. And with that being said, if we were to give our opinions on this game, the Royals are the way to go.